Hi, Andrea Curtis. I'm going to be talking about operant conditioning today. Thorndike measured operant conditioning differently than Skinner did. Thorndike used a measurement and really looked at how long it took for an animal to gain a reinforcement, where Skinner used the reinforcement, measured it by the reinforcement acts themselves. Operant behavior is controlled by its consequences. The behavior is modified through punishment or reinforcement. There are several schedules of reinforcement that the book lists, and some of them are a variable interval schedule. An example of this would be the teacher calling on a student, so everybody needs to be alert and following along so that if you're randomly called on, you'll be able to correctly answer, hopefully. There's fixed interval schedule, and this is kind of how students start acting at the end of a class, and they start closing their books and kind of mentally checking out a little bit. They're just kind of ready to be done. After a period of no reinforcement, a rush of behavior will come just before and after the fixed intervals. There's also a ratio of behavior. An example of this would be you put $1 into a machine, you get a Dr. Pepper. I know how much Dr. Pepper costs, and as long as I pay that price, I'll have my Dr. Pepper reward. So there's less behavior fluctuation with this because I can expect my reward. A variable ratio would be like a slot machine where you don't know how many quarters you're going to have to put in before you get a payout, if you get a payout. Watson and Skinner both believed that behavior can be completely explained by events that are external to the organism being studied. Watson believed that an environmental event will elicit a learned or unlearned response, and Skinner said that the environment itself selects a behavior that is contingent on the reinforcement that happens. In any case, these guys are saying that the internal workings of an organism is really less important when you're speaking about operant conditioning. One big important thing to remember is that a reinforcement that works on one specimen for one situation may not work for another specimen in a different situation or even that same situation. So reinforcements differ from situation to situation and organism to organism. Skinner said that the effects of reinforcement and punishment are not symmetrical. Reinforcement strengthens behavior, but punishment does not always weaken the behavior, meaning that you can put somebody in prison for assault, but that is not necessarily going to keep them from future acts of aggression or assault. So why use punishment? Skinner said, and this is crazy, because it is reinforcing to the punisher. Excuse me. In all applications, there was one general rule, and that is you change the reinforcement, or a change of reinforcement contingencies, and you change the behavior.